Forgive. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with criminals, one on the right and one on the left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing."
Maybe the two criminals, caught red-handed on their last job, had fallen out with each other. Perhaps the only way to shut them up was to put the quiet guy between them. "Forgive them," says Jesus, as the nails bite. "Forgive them. They don't know what's going on." Of all the low-life rogues to find the long arm of the law landing on their shoulders, these two get to hang right in the middle of history. Unlike Mary or Peter or Judas, they'd never lived with Jesus. Instead, they get to die with him. No chance to give him their lives, only their deaths. Soldiers, thieves, rubbernecking spectators, intrigued or wincing or averting our eyes, wishing this had not been our shift, hoping nothing's about to kick off. No one in this first Easter scene knows quite what's going on. Not quite sure how we ended up here, not knowing we could ask for forgiveness, not knowing someone else has.
Remember. Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise."
Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Hanging, they used to say, concentrates the mind. This is one concentrated mind. Life zoomed into sharp focus. Everything worth seeing in sharp high def. Something understood. Something that tells this man not to join the soldiers in humiliating his broken brother on the cross. Tortured to the end of himself, but still with some mysterious strength. Weakness, a kind of power. On the brink of being forgotten, we understand how good it would be to be remembered. And something in this broken brother seems to say that if he remembered you, then you would never be forgotten again. You will be with me today in a place where the dead are living, where love has won, where justice rolls down like a river, and all these days we call life are seen through some other lens. You will be with me today, says Jesus, as if he understands something. We remember someone as though we might give them extra life. Jesus remembers us, and we are never forgotten again.
Others. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home.
What does a mother think as she watches her son dying, slowly, by degrees? I wish I had never come to this. I wish I had never had him. And what about the favourite follower? So much for being in the inner circle when the circle is being bent and broken before you, when all your hopes and dreams are being drained of life in front of your eyes. or the squaddies dicing for a dying man's clothes, not knowing they have ringside seats at a cosmic drama. And in the mind of the event seekers, those whose curiosity slowed them to a halt at the sight of these bodies silhouetted high against the sky. Wait till I get home and tell everyone about this. Which of us knows that any of us are thinking? We can barely read our own minds. Which of us knows the part we are playing in the story being written before us? We only know for sure what Jesus was thinking of. He was thinking of others, as usual.
God forsaken. At 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?
Is there a time and a place when even the mortal invisible has had enough of us? Is this God hiding from Jesus, or has Jesus lost sight of God? When it comes down to it, what is the difference? If we believe that Jesus somehow was also God, then here is God taking leave of God. A divine defeat. As darkness falls, confusion rises. Voices drop away, disappear. Spectators wander off. Now only the silent sound of hope as it is forsaken. One more life, abandoned to fate in the middle of history. You have to lose your life in order to find it. Jesus used to say that.
Thirst. After this, when Jesus knew that all was now finished, he said, in order to fulfill the scripture, I am thirsty.
Everybody is dying for a drink. We live in a blue planet holding 326 million cubic miles of water, each of those gigantic cups holding more than 1 trillion gallons. Our bodies are mainly made up of water, and without it, we would shrivel up and cease to be. Our life runs dry, but water alone does not bring us life. Each of us is thirsty for something else, an infusion to transcend the physical, to sustain us deep inside. Let anybody who is thirsty come to me, he said, but now this great spring of life is running dry, thirstier than he has ever been, because we are all dying of thirst.
Anger. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last.
He's not beaten even when he's defeated, desperate and dying, abandoned, but still, with his final breath, angry at the gulf between the way things are and the way things might be, shouting at the invisible. What can you do but shout when you see the distance between the way things are and the way they might be? Howling your prayers, yelling your psalms. If you can't shout at God, who can you shout at? And if you think the decibels can climb above the unknown, can be heard by love, and that love will answer, then you jump, trusting only in the unseen hands of mercy, the hands that always made everything from nothing, always will. What other hands dare we fall into? Perhaps we are not abandoned, perhaps we are not beaten, even when we are defeated.
Everything. When Jesus had received the wine, he said, It is finished. Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit.
Clear the area, please. Nothing left to see. Jesus has left the building, has left us all. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word is now sentenced. Full stop. Close quotes. New paragraph. Whatever everything is now complete. Things seen, things unseen, things in between. Everything that was started has finished. Every beginning has found its loose end, all thoughts taken to their logical conclusion. On this day, We have seen it all. Everything dies. Life dies. Death dies. Everything is done, except love. Only love is not done. Only love will not die. Everything is finished, except love. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. At some point, everything will be done, except love. Love is never done.